had like a lot of confidence in Taylor even before this week came. So, I knew that if I got my point on the board, if I did my job, that the job would be done. So I had full belief in him. Even in the tight moments, he, came through.
The tennis world is screaming. If you listen closely, past the roar of the engines on the tarmac and the thud of yellow balls against the heat-baked courts of Australia, you can hear the sound of a legacy being fought for. This isn't just about a tournament entry list. This is about the raw, unfiltered fury of a world number one who has been left in the shadows while her greatest rival is handed the keys to the kingdom. Aryna Sabalenka is hitting her breaking point, and the explosion is imminent. As the 2026 season ignites, the optics have shifted from the scoreboard to the soul. While Coco Gauff and Taylor Fritz board their flight to Perth as the golden faces of Team USA, invited to defend their United Cup crown as the undisputed darlings of the sport, Sabalenka is left in Brisbane, isolated and simmering. The debate is no longer about who hits the ball harder, it's about who the world wants to see win. And right now, the snub being felt in the Sabalenka camp is echoing like a cannon blast across the Pacific. This is a story of power, envy, and the cold reality of a sport that rewards more than just the number next to your name.
It was great. We played the majority, almost every single match, except for one. Coco played first, so always put me up 1-0. So I feel like it put so much pressure on me because I don't want to be the one to lose it for the team because she already won. But it's amazing. She's consistently putting us in a winning position.
The controversy is suffocating. Just days ago, Sabalenka stood on a court in Dubai, participating in a battle of the sexes against Nick Kyrgios that many critics labeled a circus. She was forced to play in a format that felt more like a money grab than a sporting milestone, a match that ended in a straight sets loss and left her dignity bruised.
Your champion of the Battle of the Sexes, the Dubai Showdown.
And as she landed in Australia to prepare for her Brisbane title defense, she was greeted by billboards of Coco Gauff. Not just Coco Gauff, the player, but Coco Gauff, the leader. Coco Gauff, the defender. The invitation for Coco to return to the United Cup alongside Taylor Fritz isn't just a scheduling choice, it's a declaration of who the tour believes is the true protagonist of this era. Sabalenka is the world number one, but Coco is the one the world is waiting for. The fury in the Sabalenka camp is palpable. How does the reigning world number one, a woman who has dominated the rankings for over 70 weeks and claimed the 2025 US Open with a ferocious display of power, find herself excluded from the year's most prestigious team event? While Coco Gauff, the world number three, gets to share the court with the world's top men, building a brand and a bond with Taylor Fritz that is being marketed as the pinnacle of the sport. Sabalenka is relegated to the lone wolf grind. She doesn't have a team. She doesn't have the all-American marketing machine. She has her rackets and her rage. And right now, that rage is directed straight at the crown that Coco Gauff is wearing so comfortably. This is a war of identity. We have seen Coco Gauff rise from a 15-year-old phenom to a 21-year-old icon who handles the world's expectations with a grace that seems almost superhuman. But behind that grace is a tactical brilliance that has pushed her rivals to the edge of sanity. Coco didn't just join Taylor Fritz, she joined a movement. Together, they represent a vision of tennis that is youthful, united, and untouchable. They are the defending champions who walked through the 2025 tournament with a perfect record, culminating in that heart-stopping final where Coco took down Iga Świątek. For Sabalenka, seeing that unity from the outside is a psychological gut punch. She has watched Coco win hearts, win slams, and now win the primetime slots in Australia. The envy being reported isn't just about the United Cup invite, it's about the realization that no matter how many matches Sabalenka wins, she is still fighting against the tide of Coco mania. The emotional stakes are higher than they've ever been. Sabalenka is a warrior who wears her heart on her sleeve. We've seen her smash rackets in frustration after losing the 2025 Australian Open final. We've seen the tears. This latest development has pushed her into a headspace where the 2026 season isn't just about winning, it's about revenge. She is looking for blood. She sees the princess treatment being afforded to Gauff and Fritz, and she is ready to tear that script to shreds. Every interview she gives in Brisbane is laced with a cold determination. She's not just playing for a trophy anymore. She's playing to prove that the darling of the media can be broken. Think about the achievements that have brought Coco Gauff to this moment of absolute leverage. In 2025, she didn't just compete, she dominated. She conquered the red clay of Roland Garros, defeating Sabalenka in a final that many called a passing of the torch. She captured the WTA finals in Riyadh, becoming the youngest American to do so since Serena Williams. She has built a net worth that is projected to hit legendary heights, fueled by a multi-million-dollar Mercedes-Benz deal that makes her the highest-paid female athlete on the planet. Coco is winning at life, and that success has created a target on her back. Sabalenka knows that a confident Coco is a dangerous Coco. A Coco who is smiling and enjoying the Australian summer with Taylor Fritz is a Coco who is nearly impossible to beat. The debate is splitting the fans down the middle. Is it fair that the world number one is sidelined from the biggest stage of the opening week? Or has Coco Gauff earned this through her status as a global ambassador for the game? Coco's achievements, winning the French Open and leading Team USA to a perfect 5-0 record in the previous United Cup, gave her the leverage to demand this spotlight. She is the MVP. She is the one who beats the giants. Her win over Iga Świątek in the 2025 final proved that when the lights are brightest, Coco doesn't just play, she conquers. But for Sabalenka, it feels like a rigged game. It feels like the world is rooting for her to fail so they can celebrate the next golden girl. And let's talk about Taylor Fritz. He isn't just a partner in this, he is the perfect foil. The world number 6 has reinvented himself as the anchor of American men's tennis. He brings a calm, collected power to the court that perfectly balances Coco's frantic, athletic energy. Together, they are a brand. They are the it couple of the United Cup. They represent a future where tennis is a shared experience, a team effort, and a global celebration. Sabalenka, meanwhile, is the embodiment of the old way, the solitary warrior, the ball basher who has had to fight for every inch of respect she gets. The clash between these two ideologies is what makes this going nuts moment so significant. It's a breakdown of the old guard. Rumors are swirling that the schedule in Australia was specifically designed to keep Sabalenka and Gauff on opposite sides of the continent until the very last moment. They are being kept apart like two chemical elements that would cause an explosion if they touched. Sabalenka in the heat of Brisbane, Coco in the breeze of Perth. But the mental connection is there. Every time Coco posts a photo of her and Taylor laughing at a team dinner, Sabalenka sees it. Every time a commentator mentions Team USA's dominance, Sabalenka hears it. The envy isn't a secret. It's the engine driving the 2026 season. We have to look at Coco's strength, not just the muscles in her legs that allow her to track down every ball, but the strength of her conviction. She has used her platform to speak on social justice, to renovate public courts in Florida, and to inspire millions of young girls. She is more than an athlete. She is a movement. And that movement is what is driving Sabalenka crazy. How do you compete with a movement? How do you beat someone who has the world cheering for her even when she loses? Sabalenka is realizing that the world number 1 ranking is just a number, But Coco is a name that means something deeper. The emotional breakdown we saw from Coco earlier, her tears over her retirement money and her future, wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign of a woman who has finally realized she is in control. She doesn't need the tour needs her. And that realization has given her a level of freedom that Sabalenka simply doesn't have. Sabalenka is still playing for the ranking, for the validation, for the trophy. Coco is playing because she chose to be there. That psychological edge is why the invitation to the United Cup was so significant. It wasn't just a request for her to play, it was a request for her to lead. The world is watching as the 2026 Australian Open approaches. The narrative is set. It's the solitary queen of power, Aryna Sabalenka, versus the united, freed, and empowered Coco Gauff. The fury we are seeing from Sabalenka is the last gasp of a player who realizes the game has changed. The United Cup isn't just a tournament, it's a stage, and Coco Gauff is the star. Taylor Fritz is the supporting lead, and Sabalenka? She's the one watching from the wings, wondering when it became her turn to be the villain.
This is huge. This is heartbreaking. This is the raw emotional reality of a sport where being the best isn't always enough. You have to be the chosen one. And right now, that person is Coco Gauff. She has the money, she has the partner, she has the invite, and she has the heart of the world. Sabalenka is going nuts because she knows that no matter how hard she hits that ball, she can't hit it hard enough to change the way the world looks at Coco. The 2026 season is here, and the heat isn't just coming from the sun, it's coming from the fire of a rivalry that has just become personal. As the matches begin in Perth and Brisbane, the tension will only grow. Every win for Coco will be a needle in Sabalenka's side. Every win for Sabalenka will be a scream into the void. The debate will rage on in the bars of Melbourne and the forums of the internet. Is Coco the real number one? Is Sabalenka the victim of a marketing machine? There are no easy answers, only the reality of two incredible women fighting for the same piece of history. Coco Gauff has arrived, not as the girl who beat Venus, but as the woman who owns the court. Her invitation to defend the United Cup alongside Taylor Fritz is the final piece of the puzzle. She is the face of the future, and that future is looking bright, bold, and American. Sabalenka might be going nuts today, but by the time the final ball is struck in Melbourne, we will know for sure if her fury was enough to stop the Coco Gauff revolution. This is the greatest show on earth, and we are only on the first act. If you think the rivalry between Coco and Sabalenka is the most intense thing in sports right now, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for every update.